And now, with all the action from the A final at the Neo 9, once again, it's John Hindhaugh.
Well, there is Atsushi Hara's car on the grids. There is the man himself, and he is one of 7 drivers from the first semi-final who have made it through to the final. It's an exact split between the 2 semis. Remember, it was done on time, and there's the man with the fastest time of all, Jared Tebow. Darren Bloomfield in second, Martin Bayer in third position. Fourth, Ryan Lutz, another one of the Americans with the Tamiya. In fifth, Lee Martin. All of the top 5 are from the first semi-final. Neil Cragg, the first of the second semi-finals. He won it, remember, in 6th position. 7th, Atsushi Hara. Then Ryan Mayfield. He's the last of the qualifiers from the first semi-final. So from here on in, it's all from semi-2. That's Rabiti in 9th. Then Bataille in 10th. Yannick Algon in position number 11. 12 should be Richard Saxton, but I thought I didn't see a car there. I'm sure he'll be there by the time the hooter goes off. 13, Richie Gomez, and at the back, Jerome Agon. That's your 14 for the final. So the buggies go down onto the track. Oh, Bloomfield goes forward, and I think his helper was worried he was going to get his fingers cut off by the samurai sword there, but he's made a decent start, and Tebow's away in the lead. Bloomfield in second, Martin Bayer in third, as you were from the grid. And Bayer makes a mistake and takes out Ryan Lutz there in the mix. That's allowed the leading pair to open up quite a big lead. Lee Martin, I think, is now in third position. See if we can check that as they come through. There's no doubt about the leader, though, Jared Tebow with the Kyosho. Bloomfield in second, trying to apply pressure. All kinds of carnage going on the infield. Neil Cragg, I think, coming through there as well. I think I saw the dark buggy of Neil Cragg, number 6, the second semi-final winner. Just to tell you, the first semi-final was 21 seconds quicker than the second. Neil Cragg, the best of the second semi-final qualifiers, and he was down in 6th position. But this is the battle at the moment at the head of the field. Tebow and Bloomfield. The United States versus the UK. Proper old-fashioned transatlantic challenge, if you like. And at the moment, the pendulum has swung in the favour of the USA, with Jared Tebow. That's a handy lead, isn't it? It'll be a while before he starts catching any traffic. There will be a pit stop, of course, and that may yet decide things. We've seen earlier on in the meeting how important it is to get that pit stop right. Now there's the battle for third, and that's Lee Martin in the red car. The darker car behind him is Neil Cragg. This is for the final podium position. They aren't gaining on the leaders, though, are they? Oh, and there's a little mistake there by Martin. Cragg tried to get round the outside, couldn't get it done. But the pressure is on. Slightly different line there by Neil in 4th place. Across the start line, Martin and Cragg. Interesting to see just who's got the advantage here, which parts of this track different drivers prefer, and where they've set the buggy up. Very important to feel comfortable. There's always going to be a compromise. You can see here there's some fast bits, there's some big air, but also getting the setup right. Oh, and a problem for Cragg in the background. Cragg has just gone off there, and that's cost himself some time. I think that's Bataille, who was also making a little mistake. He didn't have a clean run in the first heat either. And now we've picked up the world champion, the hot bodies of Atsushi Hara. He qualified in 7th position here. And he's battling in the bottom part of the top 10. I think Lutz was in there as well. Now here's the leader, just going by, I think that was Yannick Agon, who's just come out of the pits. So we're in the pit stop window. Tebow leads still from Bloomfield in 2nd position, and look, that battle is getting much closer. Bloomfield taking his chances to close in. And there's a problem for one of the leaders. It's Bloomfield in second place who's made the mistake. He was turned over very quickly by the marshal. And has got going again. However, that has, look at the lead. Look how much the lead's extended there. So Thibaut now. Thibaut just has to, well, I was about to say, just has to keep it sensible. But we've seen this before, that Jared Thibaut out in the lead sometimes just can't quite pace himself when he's got no one to race against. And clearly Darren Bloomfield has got a very quick setup on his car. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him fighting back towards that rear wing. Yes, indeed. Now, that was a huge gap, only a lap or so to go after the mistake by Bloomfield. And the leader's in the pits. The leader is in the pit lane. This is crucial time. That's not bad. He's set off. He's, I think, given up the lead, though. Bloomfield's gone through. Yes, he has. Just got a little flash of him there. So it's absolutely crucial to have that clear lap on his outlap by Thibaut. And Bloomfield conversely, he's got to really get the hammer down. He's seen the leader come into the pits and he knows what he's got to do. He's got an opportunity here to make up some ground. I don't think he's got enough lead to get in and out without giving that lead back. But back markers, and he's done that very well indeed. He's peeling off this time. Is he to the right? Yes, he is. Oh, he's slipped wide there and given up the lead. So that's a disaster because he's now in second place and he's still got a pit stop to do. That was the pressure from Jared Thibaut. Thibaut's gone through. And Bloomfield now has a tactical dilemma. Does he stay out there and try to put in some quick laps, maybe even get back ahead? Or does he pit now and then use the rest of the race to his advantage? He's got to be thinking of that whilst he's driving at the same time. All of these drivers and teams will have talked about which lap window they're coming. He's in the pits! Bloomfield's in the pits. It's not a particularly good entry. Goodness me! He flies into the pits. He's lost a bit of time there. It looked spectacular. And he's actually airborne on the off-ramp as well. But not the cleanest of entry and exit to the pits. And that's left Jared Thibaut with a comfortable lead. Consolidated that gap. And there is Atsushi Hara making his way through the field. Somehow I think this is not going to be his weekend, but good to see the world champion has turned out for an event like this, and certainly there'll be plenty of stories to tell about the day that the world champion came down and raced here at Telford. And Hara's got a bit of a battle on his hands here, just outside the podium positions. It's Robert Bataille who's with him. Bright orange wheel discs, yellow wheel discs rather, on Bataille's buggy. And what a feather in his cap it would be if he could get by the world champion, who's made a mistake, but recovers before. I think Bataille had a little off there as well, just out of our sight. Let's look a little bit further forward to the battle for the final podium position. At the moment held by Ryan Lutz. There he is, the number 4 car. Neil Cragg is right in behind him, trying to get alongside. Airborne. Oh, and that's Lutz has gone over and Cragg's gone wide. They don't actually change positions. So it is still the 4 buggy in third position. That's Gomez just out of the pits and he's taken out the 4th place man. He's taken out Neil Cragg. And I'm pretty sure Gomez was a lap down there. Shouldn't really have been getting involved. Cragg will not be happy. Not happy at all. Now back at the front of the field, it's hotting up again. We haven't seen Jared Thibaut and Darren Bloomfield for a little while, but trust me, they haven't been too far apart all the time we've been away. So there's been real pressure for both men. And as you can see ahead of them, there's traffic. Always difficult for the leader. You're the first man into that. And Bloomfield doing exactly the right thing and closing up, hoping to capitalise on any small mistake that's made by the leader, who somehow holds on to the tail end of that Kyosho buggy on the infield. There's some kind of action ahead. I saw one of the marshals moving, but the track is clear again. Tense times for Jared Tibor, the American. He's just edged out a little more of a lead. Can he hold on to it? Pit stops going on around them as well. They can't afford to be distracted by that. Concentration is all, and I'm afraid Darren Bloomfield on the Lussie has just lost his rhythm for a moment. Allowed the leader, Jared Tibor, to get away. But it's still not by any means a lead that will make Jared Tibor settle. Not when there's traffic ahead. Not when there's traffic ahead that are having their own battles as well, of course. And as we've seen, there's pit stops to come. And here is the leader making his next pit stop. That looks neat. The fuel goes in. Keep it together on the exit of the pits. We've seen people make mistakes. So again, on the pit stop rotation, Darren Bloomfield is leading. He didn't take his opportunity last time, fluffed his entry to the pits and made a very, very untidy pit stop. He can't afford that this time if he is going to challenge for the lead. He's made a mistake. Exactly what he didn't need to do. The pressure is told again. Goodness me. Both times he's had it in his own hands, and both times he's let it slip through his fingers. And that's great news for Tibor, who is right with him here. But Tibor's already done his fuel stop. And this is great news. It will be such a fill-up for the American, who will know that he can just cruise around behind. And another mistake by the number 2 buggy of Darren Bloomfield. He's getting caught up in everything at the moment, and he will be cursing himself. No one else to blame but the man on the sticks. And Bloomfield will know he hasn't done himself justice in this race. Tibor pulls away, and this could be decisive. Here is Jared Tibor, the leader. It's the last lap, and he has been not only the fastest and most consistent, but also I think the coolest customer here this afternoon. Made it count when he needed to. Good pit stops, and he will come through and take a very deserving win in a very good field that includes the world champion. Tibor wins it. So it's congratulations to Jared Tibor winning for the USA ahead of Darren Bloomfield from the UK, who had his chances, may well just be cursing his luck on those pit stops. Ryan Lutz won the battle for the final podium position, and behind him Rabiti, and then Yannick was the best of the Algon brothers. Well, Nick is down in the Parc Fermé area with a very cool Jared Tibor, our winner.
Jared Tibor, congratulations. A hard-fought 45 minutes, certainly the first 10 or 15 where you were battling with Darren tooth and nail.
Yeah, it was a long race, man, and it just kept dragging on, and Darren drove awesome, you know. It was fun. I've never really got to battle with him before, so that was really cool, and just was trying to just relax and stay calm. I knew I had to pit one more time, so I wanted to try to get a good lead so I could stay in front in the pit stop, and they'd have to try to catch me the whole time, so.
Yeah, explain the fuel strategy, because you were running sort of 7.5 minutes, he was running 10. Is it because this sort of pit lane's very short, you haven't got the normal disadvantage in a fuel stop?
No, I can't make 10 minutes. If I could, I would definitely do it, but when you get it that lean, I don't like the way it feels, and I crash a lot more, so I figured, you know, if I can just pit at 7.5, crash a little bit less, then it works out better in the end.